Welcome once again to another Chef Knives to Go quick look product review. I'm Steve Gamache, and what we have is the Tojiro VG-10 hammered Gyuto 180mm knife. So this line of knives has 3 layers in its construction. The inside center hard core cutting steel is VG-10 full stainless steel at a heat treat around 60 Rockwell. The outside on each side of it is a cladding of soft stainless steel. And that cladding on either side has, you can definitely see a deeply textured hammered finish on it. And they put a kind of a black, what's known as a kurauchi, a protective finish on that. And then you can see the grind down towards the edge. It's a very aesthetically pleasing knife. It's very interesting looking. And the weight and dimensions on these will vary just a little bit from knife to knife, but they should be fairly similar. The weight on this one is 131 grams, or 4.7 ounces. And the edge length is about 182 millimeters, or 7.2 inches from the tip all the way back to the back of the heel. This is called the chin back here. Overall length is about 318 millimeters, or about 12.5 inches. It's a very light blade, you can see. The handle is light, which contributes to that. Spine thickness, these are pretty much just the same thickness all the way down. I measured about 2.3 millimeters on this one. It's a little hard to gauge with the finish because you get the hammering kind of towards the edge there, but I measured about 2.3-ish all the way down the blade. And you can see these don't particularly thin out a lot with the grind, so they have a fair amount of meat on the tip, and they also have a fair amount of meat behind the edge, so they're not super duper skinny at the tip and at the edge. They're very, very sharp out of the box though. I'm going to give them a full 7 out of 10. This is the 180, I also have the 210 here. They both have really nice edges out of the box and were very, very sharp. That does help performance. The 210 performed a little bit better than I thought it would, and I think part of that is just the pure sharpness of the knife. So these will benefit from keeping them very sharp. Just FYI, that's sure going to help on these. The grinds are clean, the blades are very straight, craftsmanship is nicely done. Blade height is 43.6, so it's not particularly tall. And then these do a fairly wide neck, which actually is about as wide as the handle. So the spot for your finger on a pinch grip really is just a continuation of the ferrule right into the choil or the neck, and then here's the choil, excuse me, right here, and then the neck right there. So just kind of a continuation for your finger. And you can see you've got to kind of maintain that flat of your fingers on a pinch grip to avoid, getting your knuckles out there and hitting the cutting board. So you do have to kind of be mindful of that. The handle is light, so that brings the balance point back up here, kind of near a pinch grip, maybe a little bit behind it, but it's very neutral, very flickable feel. The handle is a D-shaped, kind of right-hand oriented hoe wood or magnolia wood with a plastic collar ferrule. A little bit of a step there between the wood and the ferrule because it slides over the top. That's pretty standard in this type of knife. The handle's actually finished pretty nice. Looks like a pretty tight glue up on the handle at the tang. Handle circumference is about 3 inches or 75, 76 millimeters here with the wood right before it hits the ferrule. And let's see, let's take a kind of a close-up look at it. So there's some etched in kanji, maker's mark, made in Japan, DP on the right. So this is the right side of the blade as you'd be holding it. And you can see the hammering on there. You've got a cool looking kind of sandblasted, cloudy kind of faux Kasumi finish on it, where it comes down into the core steel at the edge, and you've got a cool pattern where the blend line is between the cladding and the core. So it's a very aesthetically neat looking blade, kind of a moon crater kind of look to it. Nice, pretty deep indentations on the hammer marks, as you can tell. The spine isn't really polished, but it's got a little bit of relief at the corners, and the choil has a little bit of relief on the corners too, so it's definitely comfortable right out of the box. As I said, very, very sharp. Fairly stiff blade. Here we go with the profile. So, fairly kind of continuous curved profile. You can see the tip here. You've got a little bit of belly towards the tip, so I can get pretty high on that before I start wanting to dig the tip in. So this will be great for rocking, push-pull cuts, glide cutting. Not going to be a pure chopper. There really isn't much flat. It kind of flows into a stop at the back, but not really a chopper type blade. But fairly versatile profile. So it's just a lightweight package. It's all stainless. It looks nice. Again, very sharp out of the box. This will be one you probably want to keep pretty sharp to keep the performance up, since the geometry of it is not super thin at the edge and not super thin at the tip, but that lends itself a little bit more forgiveness as well. So there's always trade-offs in any kind of knife design. So it's a cool looking package though. This is the VG-10 Tojiro hammered Gyuto 180mm knife.